So what are memories? Are we really all the things that happened to us and we believed they happened to the character and they are stored inside the brain, and this is what is basically being believed, that it's like a storage room, a huge storage room in our brain, and it's in a catalog, like in a catalog. The mind puts it in some kind of drawers, important memories, and things he doesn't need, he kind of deletes, or we don't have access to these places. And this is the common perception that this is what memory is, something that has happened in our reality and was transformed into like a file of data that is in our mind, and it is presented to us, sometimes with us wanting it to present itself or not. It just pops out, some kind of memory just out of the blue, and we don't know why. So this belief is wrong. It is wrong because all the basic assumptions are wrong. First, nothing really happens to us. If we follow my radical, impossible, crazy line of thinking or presenting the truth, nothing really happens. So there are no events to remember. This is very crazy because you know it has happened to you, you know something has happened and you remember it, but this is the illusion that it has happened. Memories cannot be formed and be created because there is no time that passes a character. And we believe that we are a separate form moving through a timeline of life, and it remembers everything that has happened to her during the course of time. In the years, the months, the days, the hours, the seconds, time passes, things happen, and you remember them. But there is no concept of time in this all nothingness, so nothing ever happens and no time is passing. So memory cannot be created and stored. This is the illusion of the separate form, the character that lives its life, and sometimes she looks back on what has happened to her, and when she looks back, she remembers the things, the events, the people. They come back after some kind of time. And we remember our loved ones that has passed away, and we remember the girl from our class that hated us, and we remember everything. But these things never happen. Time has never passed on the character, on our character, because there is only one eternal moment. There is only one eternal moment, which is the present moment in which we are sitting right now. Inside this moment, there is no character and nothing happens. If you follow this logic, there cannot be any memories. The memories that present themselves to us are just as real as our fingertips or our nose or everything that surrounds us and we perceive as matter, as objects, as space. This is the grand illusion. The illusion of the separate form is so beautiful and complicated. It has to create a story. So it creates space and time in which the character can act. it creates a body in which the character can feel that it is separated and identify with. But this is not enough, because if we only had a character that moves without motive of a story, it would be lost. It wouldn't know who she is, the character itself. And so, like in literature or movies, the character has a past. And this past motivates it to act. This past teaches the character about the world and how it itself is built, how the character itself is built. So it can either repeat what she has been doing so far or learn something new and develop and evolve. But without the story of the background story, because I studied filmmaking, and the first thing we learned about building a character is that it has to be a round character. And because it needs to be a round, whole character, we, the creators of the script, we need to know as much as possible about this character. We need to know how she grew up. We need to know what influenced her. We need to know what happened to her up until the point that we meet her in the story. Because not all the stories start in infancy, like a child. It's not. We usually meet our hero in a crossroad, and we need to know where he came from. What road did he take? So we will know how to write his reaction to the crisis, to the choices he has to make. We need to understand the mechanism of how this character works. So when we write a script, we need to write about his childhood, things that has shaped his perception of reality, influenced him psychologically. If he has any trauma, it's a big deal, because a character that has a trauma is more motivated to be hurt or to deal with this trauma, to get this pain again in her life and then deal with it and come from the other side more strong. So memories are like the background story of the character. They are very important in creating the character itself. The character cannot be flat. We, as people, we cannot be shallow in our expression. We cannot start from zero, from this point, without like a clean slate inside the moment. So we need this past in order for us to know who we are. All this thing is designed to let us know who we truly are. But in the meantime, the process is, through the separate form, evolving and growing. And how can we grow from something we don't know what it is? How can we grow if we don't know what the character has moved through, has done, what she likes, what she dislikes? We will not know the character if it had no past. So we create memories. It doesn't mean that they are real, that what we remember has happened somewhere in time, because there is no thing as time, and nothing really happens. These are two basic assumptions that without understanding them, it will be hard to explain anything about this oneness. But if you follow my logic and just surrender to it, trying to understand it and play with it, so if you think about it, these memories, like everything around us, are only designed for us to express ourselves more fully because our character is full. If the character had no memories, it had no identity. And it needs an identity in order to express itself and evolve in this illusion. So this is the role of memories. They are not stored in our brain because we do not have a brain. It is an illusion that we are separate forms. We have a brain, and inside the brain there are drawers, little drawers. They are not in the spirit realm or in our spirituality like we have an outer body, an emotional body in which the memory is stored. It is stored nowhere because it doesn't exist. Our memories does not exist. They only exist in this present moment. It's like we are doing a maneuver in every millisecond of this present moment, a complete maneuver. And it's like in war, all the soldiers, they have a common enemy and they work together. So in this war, which is the war of making this illusion real for the separate character, oneness is using heavy artillery, and space and time is one of these weapons, and our body is one of these weapons, and inside the present moment it presents the character with a motive or with something that reinforces the message that we are a separate form with a history, with a past. So it presents some kind of memory that belongs to the separate form, and it is such a wonderful mechanism, so complete and perfect. You cannot grasp that it is not real, that this memory comes out of nowhere, and it is nothing, and it is only solely devised to make you yourself in the moment. So the character will be complete when it acts. And sometimes memories come when we don't do anything special. We just sit and remember. This is the second part. Why? Why are some memories coming to us when they do? If we want to, we summon them. We want to remember something and we think about it, and they can come out of the blue just like that. We remember something, it jumps into our mind. And these two techniques of the memory complete this amazing mechanism, and it's so alive and flowing. It's not a stiff mechanism. It's not like for us to remember something, there is a procedure, and it wouldn't be like natural. It is a natural process, and then we feel that it is real because it comes to us unexpectedly, or we can summon it. So it's not stiff, it's not something that we cannot relate to. It feels like part of us. It works with our emotions. And so sometimes we sit and remember things, and we summon these memories, and usually we have some kind of a reason to summon these memories. But what happens, what really happens, it's not that the separate form sits at home and chooses to think about something. If we choose to remember something, we do that for a reason. We want to remember this thing that we summon. We want to relive the experience, we want to remember the person, we want to summon this memory and use it. Enjoy it or suffer. or try to remember for us to learn something, but we summon the memory for a reason. We don't just sit and remember what we ate yesterday. We summon the memory because in the current moment, in the present moment, we need it for our expression and our evolution, development, growth. We need this memory. It has a purpose. This is why we summon it. So it's not a passive action when we remember something. It's as important as, or as physical as digging a hole in the ground. It's very physical to remember something. It's an action. It's acting. It's not a passive thing. This kind of memory. I'll talk about the out of the blue memories, which are completely different. So when we summon a memory, we do that for a reason, and it is very active thing to do. Even though we don't do anything, we just sit there and think. It is not just thinking. It has a reason, and so it activates something inside us or indicates that we are doing something wrong or right. We use the memory to test ourselves, and this is what we do in the present moment when we summon a memory. We are acting. This is one kind of remembering. The other one is what I call the out of the blue memory that jumps on you when you are completely unprepared for it and you didn't want to remember this specific thing, and it comes to you and it presents itself to you and it clings to you, and you can think, oh, why am I remembering this trivial thing or this horrible event now? Why is it coming to me right now? And this is very beautiful, the out of the blue memory that comes to you. You must understand that memory, like a dragonfly or a star in the sky, has the same essence, has the same structure. A memory, a flower, a person. It is the same. It's really oneness that is expressing itself, and memory is just as unreal as the other phenomena and as materialistic as the other phenomena. It is like a force, an independent force, which is not yours. It does not come from your brain. It does not come from your past experiences. It's not a pile of things, one on top of the other, memories of who I am. It is as fleeting as this dragonfly. It comes very independently when it needs to present itself. And these memories, these out of the blue memories, they act inside the present moment with the character to enhance the experience. Everything around us is designed to enhance the experience, or in the high-tech language, the best possible user experience you can get. Maximizing the experience, the identification. Memories are a powerful tool, and when you remember something just like that in the middle of something very unrelated, it has a very good reason to present itself to you. It is a great blessing and a great way to understand what is really happening. You can look at the thing that has popped into your mind, which seems so unrelated, and see why it presents itself right now. And it's fascinating because sometimes you don't see the connection, it is lost for you, but it always has a connection. It never comes just like that, and it is not related. It tries to give you an opportunity to see things from a different angle regarding the state that you are in right now. You are in a state, the memory that pops out tries to tell you something about the state because it completes the maneuver, the fight of the character to express itself. There are so many tools for the building of this illusion. It's no wonder that humanity cannot see through all these glorious, amazingly complicated structures that work so harmoniously together. It can't see, it's so, so beautiful. But I'm going to let you peek from the side and just tell you this truth, and you can play with these thoughts because you cannot feel it right now, but you can try to see things from this angle that says that when memory appears, it is only a device for you to reinforce your character. It may sound, like I say, nothing that ever happened to you is important because nothing was real and all your memories are nothing. So it may sound very heartless. Our memories are so precious for us. We love to remember things that we are proud of, that we have done, the people, the events. It's so precious. And I say, oh, it never happened. It is just a tool in this grand illusion, which is designed to make your character better. But it doesn't diminish the expression of the memory. I mean, it is such a wonderful story. It doesn't matter that it didn't happen, because when I remember my mother, which was a wonderful, wonderful woman, and I remember how she used to sing, it doesn't matter that she was never a woman that sang. It was the idea in this present moment for the character to remember that she had a loving mother who used to sing. And this is the character of a person that was loved by her mother. And the expression of this love was singing. And this memory is built for the character to know itself and to act from this place. And sometimes people have very bad memories, and these are the good news. Because sometimes, often enough, people suffer so much in their lives. So their story is so hard. They suffered and they have terrible memories that shape them into the character that they have become because of what has happened to them. And sometimes they remember these terrible memories, and this is, of course, their character. But the good news is that each and every moment that you express yourself as a separate form is new. Nothing has really happened to you in the past. All these memories are like smoke, something like smoke. They don't have any substance or essence. They have never happened to the character. And the only thing that happens to the character is what is happening to her in the present moment. So the good news is that you can look over these bad memories. They never happened. They were only the tools for you to become who you are, and now you can be someone different. If you have the strength, if you let the bad memories control your life and dictate the way you react to people, You are ruining the very present moment for the character, ruining. You are expressing the current moment in a very closed and scared way. And there is no need to, because what has happened to you and you believe has happened to you, your memory has never happened to you. So you are fresh, you are protected. All these memories, like in the book, were descriptions of the character that starts now. The book starts now. This is what is happening to the character. We write everything that we consider as a memory is just the background story of the character. It is not in the book that we write. It is just the things that led the character to be what it is. They never happened. It's like an author created the character and painted, like he gave it a story. So these memories are the background story, which was written for us. And it presents itself to us when we need the character to make decisions or to react. And we can either cooperate with this background story or defy the character we have become from the background story. And these are beautiful stories about someone who has come from a difficult background and fought his way into loving more evolved character. He didn't let the bad memories dictate his life, his choices. It sounds so fantastic because you say, this is only a background story, but each and every one of us knows how many memories we have in our heads. So many different memories. How can all these memories not be real? How can all these events have no substance in them? And how is it possible that these things never happened? I know because I've been there, because I remember I lived that moment. And this is the illusion. You never lived that moment. There was never any other moment other than the moment you are inside right now. And everything else that you can't perceive, it's just the illusion of the character that pretends that you have a body, you sit in a chair, you are surrounded by space, and in your head there is something that says, I have a past. Same illusion to create the perfect character, which is you. A complete character, a character with a story, with a motive. It's very hard to comprehend that our memories are not ours. There are this oneness that presents itself to itself, just like it presents a bird in the sky, flying in the sky, it presents a memory. And in perfect synchronicity, it presents it to a separate form, an illusion of a separate form, and creates a reaction of identification. This is what happens. And when you think about it, this complete character with its background story, with its memory, can choose in any given moment to start over, to jump over these memories and start from the knowing that she is the only thing that is, that she is all these things, and that the past experiences have never happened to it. Each and every one of us wants to live peacefully, in harmony, lovingly, to succeed in our lives, to love. Sometimes memories are obstacles in our way. they were not designed for us to use them as something that dictates our actions. We need to understand that the only thing we can do is right now to act right now and to detach our memory of these actions from what we want really to do. And it is easier to do that if we understand and believe that this thing never happened. It is only a story, only a mechanism, only a tool. So we are free to act in any given moment without the burden of all our past history, which we believe is our memories.
Nothing good, nothing bad, nothing ventured, nothing gained, nothing stillborn or lost, nothing further than proof